Hello everybody, I'm Keen947 aka Wolfkeen. Got a new table, but that's not why we're here. So, I'm Keen947 aka Wolfkeen. Welcome to another edition of A Wolf's Word. Now today on A Wolf's Word, I'm going to be talking about a game that takes place in colonial times, in like 1777, at least a rough draft. A game where you play as another assassin in an attempt to foil the plans of the Templars. I'm talking about Assassin's Creed 3. Now, what can I say about Assassin's Creed 3? Well, the game itself, there's a lot I need to say about it, both good and bad. So, I'm going to go across, well, of course, the story. At the beginning of the story, we continue where Desmond left off. Apparently, he's heading to this new area which will somehow have the answers to this problem they're having. Supposedly, the world is going to be destroyed, so Desmond goes to these ruins with the Apple of Eden. If you played Revelations, you would know. With the Apple of Eden, he's able to unlock the door and find this location where he could possibly find the answer to the end of the world, how to save the world from it. So Desmond, in order for him to find the key to the door, you guessed it, has to play as another ancestor of his. So the first time we start playing, we play as a character named Hatham, who was sent to Boston on a mission. Basically, Hatham is supposed to be starting up this group of people. But really, I gotta say something. This is gonna be a bit of a spoiler. I never do this. Hatham's plotline is just setting up a plot twist. And unfortunately, if you're a big fan of Assassin's Creed 3, you will see it miles away. If not, well, it'll get you, because it got me. So after Hatham's story is done, you play as Connor, who is a Native American. Connor, when you start playing as him, he's just a normal kid who is, living his life and stuff like that. Unfortunately, one day, the group that, there's a certain group that attacks his village and burns it down. His mother, unfortunately, dies in the accident, and after years of this happening, after the years, Connor wanted to get involved in the war, but he was forbidden from doing it until he was contacted by one of the spirits, I don't know, from the first civilization, I'm guessing, I can't remember, and they show him the assassin sign. So he seeks out the sign and seeks out training to become an assassin. And so Connor's given the job to take out these members of the Templars. Story-wise, the game is okay, but there seems to be a couple of problems with the story. For one, well, it's the same story from other Assassin's Creed games. You assassinate certain Templar members. Now, they do this in certain ways in other Assassin's Creed games. Like in Assassin's Creed 1, you were just assassinating these members to keep your life. In Assassin's Creed 2, it was a little bit about revenge in one case, but then it was about preserving the assassin order. And now in 3, it feels like you're just doing the same job over and over again. So story-wise, the build-up story, I don't know, it really didn't hit me right. And I have to be quite honest, I don't like Connor as a main character. I think Ezio is a better character than Connor. Granted that Connor's a better assassin because he's better equipped for the day and age. But Ezio was the more likable character. He was charismatic. He was the kind of guy a lot of us wanted to be. I'm going to be honest with it, a playboy. Let's face it. Ezio was a playboy when he was younger, and he still was when he was an adult. Watch the beginning of Revelations and you could agree with me on that one. Well, not the beginning, but when he gets to Istanbul. And Connor doesn't have, a great personality. He's a little bland. I find Connor a little bland, so as main character-wise, Connor's a bit bland. So right now we have bad character, and we have a bad, not a bad character, I just don't like the character's personality. He does have some cool moments, but his personality's not that good. Same thing with the story. The story could have been touched up a little better. Now, what about the gameplay? Well, unfortunately, as you know, this ain't the Renaissance time, so there's not a lot of buildings clustered together that we can hop from, building to building just going like that. There's none of that. This is colonial times. The buildings are a bit more spaced out, so it's harder to free run. And to be honest, I found myself running on the streets more than I did free running on the buildings. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Why? Well, there is too many f***ing guards! There are 4 to 8 guards per building! It's ridiculous. Like, you can't get across the buildings very well because there are guards all over the place. Like, they're all over. Like, what the hell? I want a free run, and I can't because these guards are all over the place. And as soon as they tell me, get down, and I don't do it, they're going to pot shot my ass from miles away, which is ridiculous. So really, you're not going to want a free run. You're going to want to walk on the streets, and that's annoying. I hated that. I wanted to run on the buildings. I mean, now I can in the end of the game because, well, I don't care. But that's a problem. That's the core mechanic of Assassin's Creed, and now it feels like they made it even harder to do it. So that's my problem. And I'm going to be quite honest. This game has a lot of hand-holding. Why is this game holding our hands so much? In Assassin's Creed 1, they just taught us the tutorial and then let us go like, good luck! In Assassin's Creed 2, yeah, they held our hands for a little bit, but not this long. The game holds your hand a lot, and I mean a lot, which is a little monotonous if you ask me. I kind of find it weird how the game holds your hand so much. So, there's a lot of hand holding in the game. And here's another problem I have. Yes, I'm still on negatives. You don't need to buy weapons. You could play the entire game with the starting equipment you get and still beat it. So it feels like there's no reward whatsoever to gathering newer weapons. It feels like you could make it through the whole game without spending any of your money except on other things, which I'll explain. It feels like you could run through the whole game with your starting equipment. It's not going to be easy, but you could do it, which is ridiculous. I want to be able to feel like I'm getting better. In Assassin's Creed 2, when you were buying new weapons, you felt like you were getting better. Same thing with Brotherhood and Revelations, even though I found Revelations boring. And that's another thing. I played this game, during the first 5 to 10 hours, I was having fun. But then afterwards, I couldn't help but say, I'm bored. I found the game immensely boring compared to Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 again, because I found no fun in the game. The only other things you could do besides main story missions, which is what you're gonna want to do, is side missions, and most of the side missions suck. You got the courier missions where you just run around the city delivering mail. You got the gathering mission where you head out and gather certain supplies, which you don't have to do right away, but it's there. And then you have the assassination missions, which are the only ones I actually like doing because I get to actually kill someone. Ubisoft made this game less about the killing for some reason. You don't get to kill as many targets as you have like in Brotherhood, Revelations, Assassin's Creed 2. In the words of Ben Yahtzee Croshaw, what is wrong? Where's the stabbing? I want to stab some guys. I want to kill some people. I want the incentive to kill people. I don't want to keep fighting nameless guards. I want to be able to kill someone who's important and be able to take the life from them and be happy about it. Okay, I'm a sick sadistic guy for saying that, but that's what I mean. Alright. What else can I say? Well, I already talked about that. There's a problem with that. So, what about some positives? Well, the game is pretty long. If you play the side missions and you do the story, I clocked in at about 20 hours. So that's not too bad for a game, but I think it's a little shorter for Assassin's Creed standards, if you ask me. I think Assassin's Creed 2 still had more side missions to offer, and most of them were still pretty good. In Assassin's Creed 3, you've got those kind of side missions, and you even got board games to play. Like, you got this weird, like, checkers kind of game, and you also have this weird, like, where you throw a ball into a square, and you have to try to get your balls, don't make any jokes, to get as close as they can to the smaller ball. Don't make a joke. On a good day, this reminds me of Red Dead Redemption. Most of the mini games and stuff like that, they do remind me of Red Dead Redemption, but I think I'd rather play Red Dead Redemption for the mini games than I would Assassin's Creed 3. That's me being honest. I will say this though. As for gameplay wise, we need to talk about the combat. The combat they've improved very well. I mean, there's none of that, like, you have to hold the button to do, like, certain things. You have to hold the button to do counters and then stuff like that. The counter button is your circle. You basically hold circle at the right moment. Yeah, at the right moment, you hold circle, you'll go into slow-mo, and then you can choose to counter kill, counter grab, or counter disarm if you have your bare hands. Okay, that's pretty cool. It reminds me of Arkham City in many ways, which is a good combat system. And they made some of the enemies pretty tough. One batch of enemy will always reverse your attacks. The only way to get them is to stun them, which are the heavy dudes. You need to stun him in order for you to actually get the combo going and kill him. There's these speed dudes that can only be killed with the counter kill. And then there's these high-level, experienced swordsmen who will come after you at Norality 3. And, oh, they're so hard to kill, but they're so much fun to fight. They're difficult as hell, which is a good thing. Yeah, they changed the Norality system. Instead of it being like Incognito and Notorious, now they got different levels of Norality. They've got Incognito, they got Notorious level 1, which is basically guards will get suspicious of you, the normal Norality, normal Notorious. Norality level 2, they will investigate you when they see you. And number 3, they will attack you on sight. To be honest, Norality builds up rather quick, and it's hard to get rid of Norality 3, so I would recommend never going past Norality 2. Keep it at 1 and 2, or just keep it at 0. Just keep paying off the town criers. And that's pretty much it. So gameplay-wise, it's a little of a mixed bag, but me, I don't mind it too much, but at the same time, I wish they didn't make most of the game hand-holding and the side missions annoying. Now, I did talk about Connor a little bit. Is there any other characters that you meet? Well, actually, yeah, you get to meet some of the historical characters like Ben Franklin, George Washington, even Paul Revere. You get to take place in the midnight ride that Paul Revere did. Unfortunately, they botched that mission, which I'll explain in a few minutes. You meet all these historical characters, and some of the characters in the storyline actually have a pretty cool personality. And they retain the personalities of Desmond's friends, of course, along with the character that we all know, Desmond's father. I do like every character's personality. Some I hate more than others. One of my favorite personalities in the game was Hatham. I don't know why. I loved Hatham. He was like a chess player kind of person, and that's me being honest. Character-wise, there's a lot of batch of characters, and they're very colorful, but I wish they didn't do certain things with them, which I'm going to explain right now. Remember when I said I hated Paul... Remember when I was talking about that Paul Revere's Midnight Ride mission is bad? Wasn't Paul Revere the one riding around saying, "The British is coming! The British is coming!" At least I think that's what it was. Am I right? Instead, he's riding behind you, giving you directions like, "Go left! Go right! Go straight! We're going the right way! You're going the wrong way!" Shut the f*** up! Seriously, you're the one that's supposed to be doing this, not me. I like how they involve Connor in the story, but they need to keep some things where it belongs. See, this is what I mean. They say that this game... You're not going to play this game for its historic accuracy. That's the important thing. But some of the missions are so annoying. That's one that's annoying. Another one is you ride a horse going to each soldier, giving them commands to attack. Oh, I hated that mission. Only because of the fact that I felt like I wasn't interacting in that mission. I felt like I was just giving orders. I want to interact in a mission. I want to actually fight. And then the one other mission which really pissed me off, remember the trailer opening of Assassin's Creed 3 when Connor rushes out to assault a opening line of redcoats? They have that level, but you don't get to do that. You don't get to rush the whole assaulting line. You have to run around behind them and kill them. Why? Why would you get rid of something that was going to be iconic in the game? I would have loved being able to rush out there as Connor with the tomahawk in one hand, the sword in the other, and just going mercilessly killing the whole line and then killing my target. That would have been fun. I don't know why they made the mission you just run around them and kill the guy. Why? I don't know why. Oh, man. I know I've been talking negatives about the game, and I'm sorry, but there is a lot of negatives about this game, which makes me wonder how the hell they released the game as it was. But there are some positives. Some of the missions in the game are really, really good. I will give some of the missions their props. And I have to admit, some of the side missions are pretty good, which I'm going to talk about right now. I think the best side missions in the whole game was the naval missions and the homestead missions. Basically, Homestead is like Ezio's little town. You basically, well, not like that, a little bit more advanced. Like in Ezio's town, you buy these locations and then you upgrade them within time so they have better stuff and more people flourish to the town. In the Homestead missions, basically, you find these people who are now homeless or going through problems, and they'll come to the homestead, which is where you live, to live there and create a community. The more people you get to live there, you can actually craft better items at your house. Yeah, you can craft items, which I will explain in a few minutes. And you can actually do these missions with these people. Like, there's this one mission where you're trying to break up a fight between these two friends, which is kind of funny to watch because I kind of failed a couple of times, just letting them go, like, punch each other in the face, and it was kind of funny to watch that. Then there are other story kind of things in the Homestead. My favorite Homestead mission was definitely, I know this is going to be a bit of a spoiler, but my favorite Homestead mission of all time was that this guy was getting attacked by the Redcoats because he was a prisoner, and so the Redcoats are coming to attack the Homestead. You and a majority of the members of the Homestead make a stand to make sure that this guy doesn't get captured or doesn't get killed. I love that. I loved how, like, the unity of the Homestead, like, you felt like everything you did, everything you've done for these people, now they're all ready to back you up and back this person up because we all live in a community. We're all united. I love that. That was fun. I love the Homestead missions. I think if anybody needs to play something, play those Homestead missions. They are great. Along with the story mode, play the Homestead missions. Now, the naval missions are another story. The naval missions are by far my favorite part of the whole game. You get to captain a ship, almost like if you're Jack Sparrow. You get to captain a ship, decide how fast it goes, shoot cannons and stuff like that. One of my favorite things is that you actually get into naval combat. And it's not none of that one-on-one line combat or anything like that, like ship's right there, you're right here. No, you drive that thing. You have to drive that thing to get the cannons aligned, and you have to actually give the order to fire. And if you hit a ship hard enough, you can actually expose, like, powdered kegs in the back of the ship and shoot it with the swivel gun, which is a small cannon gun, to take out the whole ship with that one shot by shooting its vital point. And there's so many factors to factor in the naval missions. You've got the wind, you've got the waves, you've got the amount of ships that you have to contend with, the kind of ships you're contending with. You can go up against warships, small ships. These small ships could have, like, multiple cannons. These warships could have, like, the craziest firepower possible. And you actually interact with your crew by, like, when you see the cannon fire about to come, you can tell your crew to duck, and they'll all duck below cover to prevent themselves from getting hit by the cannon fire. I love the naval missions. They are fun to play, and I actually love doing them. Granted, there's no real reward for doing the naval missions other than opening up trade routes, which I'm going to speak about in a few minutes. But the naval missions are fun. I want to see Ubisoft make a pirate game. I really do. I want to see them make a full-on pirate game with this kind of naval system. I guarantee you it will succeed if they do it like Assassin's Creed 3. So now let's get into the trading and crafting aspect. I'm going to stay short on this one. I don't like it too much. The crafting, basically you can craft items which you send out into the world to sell. It's basically another way to earn more money, which is unnecessary since you can earn money really quickly. I know a lot of people have a hard time earning money in this game, which I do, but All you need to do is make the most expensive item possible and then just sell it for top dollar. The only good thing about the money is that you can use that on your ship and upgrade your ship. So it has better cannons, better weaponry, and a better reinforcement, so it takes more punishment in a naval mission. So really the crafting and trading system, I don't like it too much, but it's nothing too terrible. Now, I need to say something right now. Assassin's Creed 3 is a mixed bag for me. The story did fail a little bit. Here's the thing. At times, you'll play as Desmond. Basically, there are these power sources inside the facility that you need to get. They're in, however, the real world. So you have to play as Desmond and gather these power sources. The Desmond missions, I don't like too much. Most of them pretty much suck. The reason why I don't like the Desmond missions is because he's a complete pacifist during the missions. You know Abstergo is after you, and you don't take your hidden blade? What? Why would you not take your hidden blade knowing that Abstergo's coming after you, and yada yada yada, and I forgot to do something before the start of all this. Call me an idiot if you want. There. I forgot to turn off my Skype. But anyways, let me get back into it. So basically the Desmond missions I don't really like too much. The only Desmond mission I liked was the final one, which was really good. I love the final Desmond mission, and I know a lot of people will because it's satisfying. Now, let's finish this up. What happens at the end of the story? Well, Connor's story ends okay. It's not a bad ending to a storyline for a character. I mean, there are worse. But Desmond's. They ended Desmond's story so horrifically. I mean, I can't even get it out of my mind. It's a bad taste in my mouth, and I hate the ending. Seriously, the end. I was willing to forgive some of the problems Assassin's Creed 3 had as long as the ending was satisfying. Nope, didn't happen. So pretty much I had to blow out Assassin's Creed 3 on the storyline itself. It's basically It's basically the same problem as Battlefield 3. It has a mixed bag storyline. It really depends on who you are. Now, there is one part I need to talk about. Now, there's just one more thing I need to talk about. The assassins. They made it harder for you to get the assassins. You have to do these liberation missions, but that falls under side quests. And I said I didn't want to do them. The main reason is you have to do all these liberation missions to unlock each of the assassins, and I feel they're unnecessary because you could still beat the game without them. So, do I really think the assassins are necessary? Hell no. So really that falls under side missions that they should have worked on. But they don't die, which is a good thing. So I could end the review right there with Assassin's Creed 3. I just talked all about the story as much as I can and gave it its points. But that's not the end of it. It has multiplayer, just like in Revelations and in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And thank God they improved the multiplayer vastly. It seems like some of the problems that were in Revelations, they fixed for 3. And they have some cool new modes like Domination. They brought back the Wanted game mode, and I clocked in a lot of hours in the multiplayer. I can honestly say I like the multiplayer. And they also got a new kind of like horde mode called Wolfpack, where you basically go after one target with, a target with 4 identical people, and you have to kill these guys in unique ways to earn yourself more points. The more points you get, the more sequences you complete, and the more time you get. So the more and more you do, the more sequences you'll get, and the more you can play. This is fun because you actually team up with the players. Okay, that's a fun mode. So all in all, what can I say about Assassin's Creed 3? It's a mixed bag. It really is. This game is a mixed bag. I know hardcore Assassin's Creed fans are going to probably defend this game, and I know they will. I mean, maybe some hardcore fans, but then again, there are some people who will say this game was watered down compared to Assassin's Creed 2. It followed the formula. Assassin's Creed 1 was an experiment, the second Assassin's Creed was the best, and the third one is a flop. unfortunately, Assassin's Creed 3 just didn't deliver on what it promised us. It had a lot of promises, a lot of potential, but it failed on most of it, and it left us on a sour ending, which I am unsure if they're going to even make another game. Yes, that's how bad the ending is, but I will give it props on the PS3 version, which gives an hour of extra missions, which isn't bad. All in all, this is a fun game for some people. I actually like this game, and I know a lot of other people will. This game gets a 7.25 out of 10. I know what a lot of people are going to say. You don't know what you're talking about, Assassin's Creed. The game is short for Assassin's Creed standards. I clocked 20 hours doing side missions and the story. If I was to do this in Assassin's Creed 2, I would clock about 30 to 40 hours. No matter what you try to say, the game is shorter than the normal Assassin's Creed game. The side missions are padding in the worst way possible. At least in Assassin's Creed 2, some of them are fun, like the races. What else is there? The multiplayer. It works, and I like it. That's what saves this game from being lower. What else? The ending. The ending. That's all I gotta say. If anybody tries to defend this ending, you need to come here and get punched in the throat. I will punch every single living person who defends the Assassin's Creed 3 ending in the throat. Same way with Mass Effect 3. Without the extended cut DLC, the Mass Effect 3 endings were terrible. If anybody tries to defend the Assassin's Creed 3 ending, I will punch you in the throat. And you know it's a bad ending. So all in all, Assassin's Creed 3 gets a 7.25 out of 10. It's a good game. I say pick it up. It's definitely worth a pickup, but at the same time, I think it's best you wait for the price to drop. Because I know it will drop. Or rent it. Just rent the game and play the story. And if you like it, just pick it up for the multiplayer. Because you need the Ubisoft online code. F these online codes. That's what I gotta say. So, 7.25 out of 10. That's what I gotta say about Assassin's Creed 3. Until next time, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen. Have a nice day.